All right, welcome everyone. Today I'm with special guest, Mr. Yasser Sinjab, senior software engineer based out of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Really happy to have him and ask some questions, learn a lot about the growing tech market in Saudi Arabia, as we've seen from various announcements out of Leap and in alignment with the whole 2030 vision of bringing talent and tech fintech and all that great stuff to the region. So without further ado, Yasser, how are you doing today?
Hello, hello. I'm doing good. Thank you for hosting me.
No worries, man. No worries. So where are you based out of, man? Looks nice and cozy.
Oh yeah. This is a coffee shop called Ashjar. It's based in Riyadh, Saudi
Riyadh.
Arabia.
Okay,
Yes.
nice. So Yasser, can you tell me a little bit about your background? Spoiler alert, I know you're a software engineer, but how did you
Yeah.
get into this space?
Yeah. I was lucky. I started coding when I was 17 at young age. And I started like learning languages. I started with C++, but unfortunately I didn't complete with this language. So I get into the computer science school at Syrian Private University. Um, and I start learning like multiple languages, C Sharp, Python, and some machine learning. Um, and then I moved to Saudi Arabia in 2013, where I started my professional career at startup. We were like building machine learning and big data tools.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, that's where I started.
Okay, nice. So you mentioned machine learning and data tools. That gets me excited as a data analyst. So could you talk a little bit more about what you were doing specifically with machine learning and the data tools?
Yeah, sure, sure. So what we used to build at that company, it's called Exceed Ventures. We were building tools around the social media data. So we were collecting data from Twitter, from YouTube, from Facebook, and we run some analytics tools on top of it that shows the customers like what's the trending hashtags, what's the trending topics that might interest the clients. So one of the tools that I built, it was sentiment analysis. So we want to know, okay, those tweets about this topic, was it like a positive or negative? Are the people tweeting like, are they okay, or they are like happy about this topic or not? So, for example, one of the companies, let's say that a company they want to purchase a subscription from our platform. So they want to know that if there is a marketing campaign, are people happy with this marketing campaign or not? Let's say STC, the biggest telecom company in Saudi Arabia, they just like launch a new marketing campaign and they want to know, okay, what's people like sentiment about this like marketing or this topic. So yeah, those were like at that day, that's what's like we focused on. Um, in addition to some social network analysis. We want to know, for example, like if we have a social network, like in Twitter, for example, we want to know who's the real influencers. So real influencers are those they don't have like the maximum, like they don't have the highest number of followers. Not necessarily like if someone has highest number of followers, he's an influencer. The influencer is the one who can like reach um, to people in the network that he can reach to those people who can influence. So you might have like low number of followers, but like you might be an influencer because you are connected to like you are connected to like powerful people, let's say, or people who has like high influence in their networks. So yeah, those are the tools that we were focusing on at that day.
Okay, so you started your career, you said in 2013, and you were based with
Yeah.
the big data tools and machine learning.
Yeah.
So what happened after that?
Yeah, after that, I started working for STC, the Saudi telecom company, where I joined building the first public cloud in Saudi Arabia by STC. So I joined the team building the marketplace, which is the marketplace means that you go and let's say you want a virtual machine. So you create an account there. You start like subscribing for virtual machines. You start like subscribing for other like products in the marketplace. So at that time, STC, they built or they have a vision to build three data centers. The first, like public cloud data centers in Saudi Arabia, and they want to open it publicly, globally. Anyone can come and start like provisioning their own infrastructures at STC data centers. So. mm Multiple like things I worked on: distributed systems, multiple languages, billing systems, Java, Python, and yeah, and I worked closely at that time with the network team, the data center team, and the infrastructure team, and the software development team.
Okay. Wow, that sounds really exciting. And so,
Yeah.
would we say the data infrastructure that STC was trying to build is that like sort of like a data lake or a data warehouse?
Uh, I wouldn't say it is a data platform. What SCP was focusing on is, if you can compare it with AWS.
Okay.
So AWS, you have Amazon Web Services. You want, let's say, a virtual machine in the cloud.
Yeah.
So you go to AWS, you create an account, and then you create a virtual machine in the cloud. It's the same thing with STC. STC, they want to be the first in the region where you can go into the STC marketplace portal, and you create an account as well, and you start creating virtual machines. That's like the infrastructure as a service. Virtual machines is where, if you want to host your applications, once you want, let's say, the cloud is, we will manage for you the data center, the cooling, the electricity, everything in the data center. You just use the virtual machine that you create. So all the companies, they, instead of focusing on building their own data center in there like physically, they use the cloud services. So SCC was like the leader at this, starting from 2015 almost. So yeah.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. And just to add to that, so I'm sure you've heard the news of Amazon Web Services
Oh
investing,
yeah.
millions, if not billions, of dollars now into building the cloud network. And so, what are your thoughts of AWS joining, now the Saudi tech scene?
The competition, it's like it's very high and strong between the leaders in the cloud industry. Like AWS, they want to join this competition. Google Cloud, they just launched like maybe 6 months ago, or like almost 1 year. They launched their first data center in with Aramco. Um, and you have Oracle here in the industry. You have STC. You have those are the leaders like globally, and they want to compete in Saudi Arabia to have like one of the biggest data centers in the world, to open it here. So I think that will not only benefit the current infrastructure, tech infrastructure inside Saudi Arabia, but like it's gonna put Saudi Arabia in the global market as a data center. So I know for sure, for example, one of the biggest gaming companies in the world. They were like keen to open or to have their own infrastructure hosted in the Saudi cloud. So they were like hosting it in STC cloud. and then just to serve the global traffic. So it's not only serve the current traffic in Saudi Arabia, but it's only to serve other like gaming hosted in the cloud here by all the players around the world. So um, that's just an example of how important the cloud services is, and to have data centers here in Saudi Arabia, the infrastructure is like it's perfect. Um, and yeah, the push for having a good technology infrastructure and platform here is what make those giant cloud services providers to come here and open their own services and data centers here.
Yeah, wow, man. I also remember back when I was living in Riyadh, like the 5G speeds are just like next level, as well as the internet speeds. I know Saudi Arabia, interestingly enough, ranks very high in terms of internet connectivity, and for the people, uh, the the amount of people that own smartphones and that are connected to the internet. And so Saudi Arabia is also a very young population. I would say, I don't know, I forget the statistics, but it's like well more than half of the country is between like 18 and 35. And so, what are some of the opportunities you see from such a young, tech-driven, tech-savvy population that's now entering the workforce and has grown up with the internet and iPad and all that stuff around them?
Yeah. Um, I would, um, I think, um, you're gonna see a lot of opportunities for entrepreneurs, from these people, like from those, at their young age to start like, their own businesses, to build their own startups. And I can see clear examples in Saudi Arabia, for this. So one example is Nearpay. Nearpay is one of the leaders in soft point of sales in not only in Saudi Arabia. Now they are like having contracts with like multiple countries. They are going globally with their own solution. They were like two or three founders, and they are really young. They built this soft point of sales, and it's like it's unbelievable. Like they are like changing the whole touchless payments in the country. So I can see in future a lot of such examples. Like these people, like these young people, they are more risk takers to have their own, building their own startup, working on their ideas. Um, Corporates is maybe what I see that they are not taking the way of corporate, like employment ladder. What they are focusing on to have their own ideas, and the vision here is, yeah, the support for such like, they want to have innovations here, and innovations come with people who are creative, and they want uh, to work on their own ideas.
Wow. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Nearpay. They are, they are doing great things in the space. So let's go back to your career trajectory. So you were at STC building that cloud infrastructure for the region, and then what happened after that?
Yeah. Um, After I worked for STP for like almost 5 years, I thought about like a change, and I joined a startup called Twig. Twig in Arabic, Twig its name is Twig. Um, so we were building digital wallet platform from scratch. Um, and that's where I entered the world of fintech. And we worked closely with building that digital wallet, closely working with Saudi Payments, with Sama to do the integration, and with Mastercard as well, through software called Paymentology, to build. your like online digital wallet. You don't need to have no branches. You just like download the app, have your own credit card, um, and yeah, that's like a totally different experience than a traditional banking experience.
Wow. Okay. And what were some of the things that you learned, from your experience there at Tuwait?
Yeah, I would say that was like my first real startup experience from day one. I was the first founding engineer at the company.
Okay.
We built things from scratch. So things you learn is how to design scalable systems from scratch, how to make sure that your system is always like, let's say, available, how to make sure that your code is always gonna work. Um, Something like, for example, how to integrate with Meta. Meta is the network for the network scheme for Saudi Arabia. How to do, for example, integration for the KYC systems. So a lot of things, cultural things, how to build culture at startups. Those things like you won't learn at big organizations. You need to join startups to like learn those things, and you take those lesson learned and go to other companies and start like build good things out of this.
Hmm. Okay. Nice. And so after Tuwait, where did you end up? Is it Muzin, or was there an interim between Tuwait and Muzin?
No, I left the Twig in 2023 and I joined Mozn. Mozn is like a company where they believe that AI is the fundamental things to solve a lot of the problems that we have currently. Um, and we build a fraud prevention and detection system, the team I'm working for now. We use the AI. We work closely with data scientists. Data scientists, they design the algorithms. They study the data. They do analysis for the data. They see, for example, what's the fraudsters' behaviors, what the characteristics of the people who do fraud or who are fraudsters. Um, and they build those algorithms. They study it carefully, and then we work closely with them to scale these algorithms. By scaling these algorithms means that you want to build a system that is always available in real time that will tell you for any action you do um, in any fintech app. For example, let's say you want to log in to, let's say, STC Pay. So supposedly STC Pay is integrated with us. Let's say that you want to do a login to your account. We give you in near real time, like in 10 milliseconds, that this login is a login attempt from a fraudster or not. You can think about it like similar to how once you want to log into your email account at Gmail and you log in from, let's say, you are connecting to a VPN or you are connecting from a different device that you usually log in through. So Google is gonna tell you like, oh, there is a device that's trying to log into your account. Is it you or is it someone else? So in this case, you say, oh, it's not me. So they're gonna block the access attempt. So basically, that's what we are targeting now is to have to take the any what we do is we use AI to build a fraud and tackle the fraud crime, sorry, financial like crime attempts in Saudi Arabia, and we are also targeting global markets like Emirates and other countries.
Wow, that seems fascinating. And so it was interesting, as I was, those as I was following some of your developments. from Mozn, it seems you ended up in Chicago somehow. Can you tell us a little
Oh
bit
yeah,
about how you ended up there? I think it was a
yeah.
conference you were attending.
Yeah, it was a conference in Chicago, KubeCon. KubeCon
Okay.
is the cloud native and Kubernetes community. They do a conference like annual and biannual, where many companies who contribute to the cloud native and open source community, and they contribute with their solutions or with their code or with their libraries or whatever they contribute in. And those big companies, they host like talks about how to use Kubernetes platform and how to use like cloud native, how to like take the cloud native approach in building your systems. And it was like a huge conference. Like I remember like hundreds of talks. I couldn't attend all of them, so I had to go back home and watch what I couldn't attend. Um, People there are like genius people, like from different, it's like from all around the world. Like I remember, like I don't remember the number that attendees, but like it was so big that like literally most classes or most like halls are like are filled with people. Sometimes some talk I couldn't find a seat for me. So um, uh, you learn a lot. You learn a lot. I recommend it for anyone who wants to improve their skills in building scalable systems, building cloud native systems. They're gonna go and see the leaders in the market, what they are like. They are 5 years ahead of us when it comes to the technology. They applied solutions, they learned a lot. So they share with you what they found. Um, still remember the most interesting talk I heard. It was by TikTok, how they could build agnostic cloud provider platform. So regardless if you are hosting in AWS or you are hosting in Google Cloud or any country, so they host on all cloud providers to achieve high availability, to achieve good experience when it comes to the latency, your experience on the mobile. It was like a huge a thing they TikTok achieved. And yeah, from this example, you have tens of other examples for other companies. They go and share with you what they achieved.
Okay. Wow. So it seems like it was a really eye-opening experience getting to be in
Yes.
that environment with all of the, where the latest trends and insights are.
Yeah.
And
It is.
so, as you were coming back from that conference, was there a revolution at Muzin? Were you trying to change everything with all the insights that you
Oh
learned?
yeah, yeah. That's actually what I like about Mozn. They care about the talent density. They care about like if you go to any conference, they listen to the trends. They listen to the changes. They love to be agile. Like today we have this setup. So, okay, there is a new trend. Yeah, you can plan for it and apply it. So, what I focused on during KubeCon was the observability, to have a full observability for your system, how it's working. And this is one of the cloud native things is to have something called full observability. It comes to the metrics, logs, and traces of your system is to have it all in one dashboard. Um, and there are like we don't have at Mozilla currently. We have a setup. It needs enhancement. So when I came back from KubeCon, I came with an ideas and we start working on it. We start like okay, we need to have our traces showed in Grafana. We need to have our like full dashboard of the metrics, full dashboard of the for the logs, etc., etc. So the idea is you go there, literally, you go there, you learn, and you see what people are working on. you come back and you can immediately start like working on. So my recommendation to companies is, or not only companies, even people, if you want to be, if you want to improve your skills, or if you want to improve for companies, if you want to improve your systems, send your employees to KubeCon, and they will come back with new ideas. Like it's gonna be enhancement to the whole product they are building.
Yeah, no, that seems really revolutionary in terms of
Yeah,
Muzin's approach. I was actually reading, I think it was MSNBC ranked Mozn as like one of the top companies in 2023. And it seems
yeah,
like Muzin is also, making some big moves within Saudi Arabia. But before we get there, could you tell us a little bit more about what you're doing currently at Muzin? Maybe projects or what your duties entail as a software engineer?
yeah. My role now at Mozn is staff software engineer. So my current responsibilities comes to leading people, mentoring junior engineers, um, ensuring that changes are with high standards for the product we are building, um, going with peer reviewing for the code changes, going with some sessions with the product management. So, for example, if there is a new feature in the product, I sit with the product management. I help them in thinking about it and how we're going to build this. So, for example, the product management, they want a feature. So instead of like say, oh, you think about it, I sit with them, we sit together and start like brainstorming. How do you think that we can achieve this? Do you think that, for example, we do you think that this feature is going to be used by all customers or only one customer? Um, what kind of impact this feature is going to have on the whole system that we are building? So helping, mentoring, writing code as well, doing like pull request reviews, introducing a new feature, thinking ahead for the roadmap of the product. So I think like 6 months from now, what should the product look like, or what kind of tools we need to introduce to maintain high quality product, high quality service, and yeah. Um, a lot of enhancement, some of the optimizations stuff for low level things. Yes, kind of those those are my responsibilities.
Okay. And it seems that you have a somewhat of an interest for data science. I remember
Yeah,
back in the days of Wa Al Barri, that cafe, my
yeah,
cafe in Riyadh, that where
yeah,
I got to meet you and really get to know a lot about you. I remember you had a keen interest in data science. That relates to what I'm trying to do as a data analyst. And so, what is your interest in data science? Is it an extension of what you do as a software engineer, or is it just a whole different venture of yours?
yeah. I like this question. I would say that data science, I start like loving it when I I was still back in school. Um, you have data, and if you are kind of like you are a person who's always curious about what kind of things I can get out of this data, what kind of for example features or anything I can know from this data. I remember one success story, um, that a company, it was in the US, and it's called Decide.com. Decide.com, they built an algorithm out of the purchases data or purchases history that you have. It can um, it can detect what the sorry, it's not about purchase data, but like if you give it an item and you want to know what's the price of this item at specific date, it's gonna tell you like our algorithm expect in future what's the price of this item. So it's gonna help in making decision when do you want to buy this item. So you can say, for example, okay, now we are in March. So I want to know what's the price of this item in December. So you can see the lowest. It's the algorithm will expect the lowest price for this item, and then you can decide to when to purchase it. So that was an example that I really loved. Okay, if I have data, I can do analysis on it. I can build machine learning models using it. I can get more insights that is really interesting, that can help people, help me fulfill my curiosity about a lot of things. So that example, that was like, oh, okay, now I can build data product. Data product is something that you build a product out of data. And Decided.com was an example for this. That was like this Decided.com. I think the Amazon built that. Sorry, Amazon acquired that company. If I don't, Amazon or eBay, one of them acquired the algorithm. So or acquired the company that they want the algorithm built there.
Hmm. No, it really seems like now with the whole push for data science, analytics, especially when it comes to like machine learning and utilizing those algorithms so that you can decipher more and more insights from data. It really seems like that there is a bright future. And so, if you could comment a little bit about the future of, let's say, data science or data analytics in general as you see it.
Yeah, sure. There is a huge push from companies here to um, benefit from the data they have. There is a lot of data. The only thing is, are we using this data or not? That's why you find a scene here for hackathons, datathons. People like there is a lot of hackathons happens here just for people to come and study like samples, do some training on the data here, and benefits from like the potential data scientists, potential machine learning engineers here to hire them and start like using their skills and benefit from the data they have. So there is a lot of potential when it comes to the increasing the quality of life, the quality of services, the quality of the many companies here. What they want is they want to use the data they have to improve the service they offer, and build great products out of it. So my recommendation is for people who wants to take this path, um, is to start reading about like, okay, what's data analysis, what it's used for. Start reading about taking courses about machine learning, for example. Basic courses, you can find it in Coursera. Um, One of the greatest instructors in Coursera called Andrew Ng. He can explain machine learning in very basic terms and in beautiful way. So learn machine learning, the basic of machine learning, and then use what you learn in platforms like Kaggle. Kaggle is like a public platform for competitions. So use it, show your skills there. Companies, what they do is they publish their data sets there for people to do their studies on these data sets. Usually, it's like not the whole data set, but like it is anonymized sample data set, so people can build machine learning algorithm on top of it. Not only Kaggle, uh, keep watching the hackathons. The hackathons that happens here, most of them are global hackathons. So I contributed in two hackathons called Artathons, where I it's not a data science, I would say. It is using AI and art together. So they were global. People from all around the world, they came here to participate. So you learn a lot from these hackathons because you are now working with the best. You are working in like with people from all around the world, they are the best talents. They come and you can learn from them. So focus on these things. This will increase your skills in data science, machine learning, deep learning, and then maybe you can take your these skills will help you in having your career, starting your career in as a like as consultant or as like a data scientist at one of the companies they work in data science field or AI field.
Mm. No, definitely, man. Definitely. That is a lot of gems there, especially with the machine
Yeah.
learning. I know that can scare a lot of people when they hear machine learning, and it's like, oh, algorithms and statistics and regressive models and all that stuff. But as you mentioned,
Yeah.
you can find someone who can sort of simplify it. As you
Yeah.
were adding on to what you were mentioning, there is a lot of benefit that you can use machine learning for to derive, bigger and better insights from the data. And so I want to go back to Muzin. I know you were mentioning that you train, some of the onboarding staff, the new junior software engineers. And can you tell me a little bit about what work culture is like in the tech space in Riyadh or in Saudi Arabia in general? What are some of the challenges that you found? What are some of the things you've learned in terms of working with a team, building a team? As we realize that it's really important not just what you do, but the people that you work with and how you work together.
Sure, sure. Um, well, I'm gonna talk for my experience at Mozn when it comes to the, let's say, starting from the hiring junior engineers or hiring engineers in general. We focus on the quality. We focus on bringing talent through the typical like interview process. You need to have data structure knowledge, algorithms knowledge, and you need to have like a good skills in system design. This is like two tips when it comes to the interview. If you pass them, we have high standards for the interview for the talents who wants to join. So if you pass these interviews, you are welcome to join Modern. And at Mozn, usually what we care about like the quality of the product that we are building. That's what we expect from you is to have an ownership, to have like good sense of ownership. We care about like the code you write is high quality code. You care about like the metrics that we put for the SLA that we put for our systems. So um, we have culture of like peer programming. So for example, when it comes to the me sitting with a junior, so we push towards like, okay, it's not all on that junior developer. We need to have like he needs to have like some two people thinking is better than one only thinking by himself. So we do peer programming together in order to think about like how to solve a problem. We have like a remote friendly also culture. So that's to give people a good quality of like balancing between their own life and going to the office. Um, so yeah, I would say that if you want to join Muslim, for example, um, focus on focus on these two things: algorithms and data structures. It's very important. It's crucial. Um, Go do some lead coding. Lead code is a platform for problem solving. Um, and focus on system design. System design is usually, if I want to explain it, is if I give you now a requirements to build a system, what are your thought process? What are decisions you're gonna make? So this is very important because if you want to join Muslim, you as a leader, we will think we know for sure that you're gonna help the company in making decisions. So we want to hire someone who's gonna make the right decision at the right time. That's why system design, preparing for it is very crucial to pass the interview for Mozn. Um, so there is a lot of ways to improve your skills in system design. There are a lot of books, tech blogs you can read, and yeah,
No, great advice for anyone looking
yeah,
to join you.
yeah.
Um, and what I would like to maybe explore a little bit further is when it comes to the software engineering space in Riyadh. What are some of the challenges, let's say, you faced, when you first started? And if you were to do anything differently, what would you do? Would you still go the traditional route where you go to university, get your degree, and then build on your skills, or were there other things you wish maybe you could have done differently?
That's a good question. I wouldn't say that the challenges in Saudi Arabia. I would say that challenges for anyone who's a software engineer. Now, I recommend that um, if you are not enjoying software engineering, you are not enjoying coding, you are not enjoying like late night reading about technologies, late night debugging sessions. Um, if you are not enjoying like always keeping yourself up to date with technologies, it's going to be difficult for you to keep in the software engineering path. Okay, you might work for a few years, and this is normal. Like in many countries, that people like work as software engineer for few years, and then they switch to engineering management. They switch to product management. They couldn't like keep up to date with the technology, um, or they couldn't like sustain that living of like a software engineer or a coder. There is another path for software engineers, which is called the staff plus engineering path, which they become staff engineer. They still in the IC as an individual contributor in the organization, and they become after that a principal engineer, and then a distinguished engineer, etc., etc. Um, but the challenges is I didn't face any challenges when it comes to the software engineering. I love technology, and I was lucky that most of my movements was like I would say upgrade for my skills, improvement for my knowledge, a new stack to learn, new languages to learn, new challenges to learn. Um, the only maybe challenge that I faced for myself, not for the industry, which is how an individual contributor, someone who's working, let's say, only code, he has to mentor people. And once you put that someone who's a coder, who's a programmer, he always sit on the computer and tell him like, okay, now you have to mentor people. That was the most challenging task I ever took, and I hated it at the beginning, but later on I stopped loving it because your success is not only the code you write. Your success also if you empower people, if you push them, if you motivate them, if you teach them new technology, new things you learn. That's also your success. So yeah,
No, I
that's
really,
I would
I really
say.
like that point. As a former teacher, educator myself, I feel that
Yeah,
it's really important. Not just to learn for yourself, but also how do you impart or, disperse that knowledge with those around you. And I think it's
yeah,
a great thing that you were able to pick up on that and enter into a mentorship, sort of role or build those skills when it comes to mentorship and building the next let's say generation of a software.
yeah, yeah,
And so um, I think the other question that comes to my mind is when people are tech has become a very popular commodity all around the world. Software engineers are like the new doctors. Wherever you guys go, there's ample amount of opportunities and people, in desperate need of, individuals who can code and utilize programming languages, to help the business needs. And so, do you find that the space is it getting crowded, or are we just in the beginning of a new phase of tech? Because like if you've seen a lot of the recent interviews of like the CEO of Nvidia, the CEO of ChatGPT, when the interviewer asked them like what do you think kids should learn, and most of the time it's like coding. They should learn how to code or how to really problem solve. A lot of their emphasis was like problem solving and not just memorizing facts. And so what are some of your thoughts around that?
Yeah, that's really great question. My opinion about it is you already mentioned in the question, which is problem solving. If you are a problem solver, regardless of the tool you use to solve your problem, you're going to be a great problem solver. So software engineering is not coding only. Coding is one part of it. So um, you can easily pick up any new language that comes in the space of programming languages. But like, do you have the skills of solving a problem that comes to you? So, for example, I'm gonna give you. Let's say that we are. I don't know when Uber is launched, but let's say that before the world of Uber or the era of Uber, if someone said, okay, I want you to build a system that is gonna connect a driver with a passenger, what are you going to do? Okay, are you gonna be able to solve this problem? That's why you find sometimes engineers are the ones who the one who will build the product, or they solve the problems better than anyone else. So even Google, for example, Google, they solve the problem of search. Like they want to make the information available, and at anyone who wants to search for something, we're gonna make it available for you. So coding might be, I would say, enhanced, become easier for people who wants to join the software engineering space. But if you are not a problem solver, the machine is not going to solve it for you. You have to have that mindset of, oh, okay, I want to, make this solution better. Okay, I solved it with this a solution, but there must be a better solution for this. So you're gonna improve this solution. You come with another solution. You come with more enhanced solution. So it is the consistency,
Yeah,
the mindset of that software engineer.
the
It's what's
refining
crucial.
refining the process as you go. Like
Exactly.
you have the
That's
problem
an engineer.
solved, you iterate, and then you refine and you constantly improve on the solutions. That's sort of what I got.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's totally correct. So that's what make a great software engineer. You might find someone who can code, and that's totally okay. There is a shortage for tech talents here in the whole world. Globally, people are like they want people to start like in the tech, and everywhere they look for tech talent. You even find like in some countries, you find tech talent visas. Like if you work in tech, you just like can apply for a visa that's okay. You just come and start working in
Yeah,
our
I
country.
think they call those
So
the digital nomad visas. I think Indonesia, Bali,
see,
as well as Portugal and other nations are very keen. I think Malaysia recently opened that door as well. Who knows? We hope maybe Saudi Arabia might open that as well. Get all the tech freelancers, working out of cafes with their
yeah,
laptops.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
it'd be great
exactly.
because if you can open the borders and bring in, the talent, it'll have an amazing effect on the local economy.
Definitely, definitely. So that's what's I expect the future will be for software engineering in general.
Hmm, okay. And then as we come to an end of this great interview, um, what are some of your recommendations? Let's say if someone is interested in doing maybe what you're doing or wants to go along that path of becoming a software engineer, what would you advise them in 2023?
And that's a good question. Um, I would. I'm 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 in favor, or like I would recommend to go to a computer science school. You're gonna learn the basics. You're gonna learn the most important things in computer science. It's not only like a degree that some people they don't believe in the degree, but I believe that it's essential. um, Next step is you need to know, like, are you gonna do you enjoy coding? Do you enjoy open sourcing? So if yes, start like contributing to open source. So for example, if you want to prove yourself in the market, start with like designing some libraries, open it for like as an open source. There are a lot of projects you can find that they are looking for open source contributors. So
Mhm.
if you are young in your age, you can spend your time building something and contributing to the open source, because it's going to be um, um, like employers. They love this. They love to for you that, oh, okay, you are showing interest in open source communities, and they want you to be part of the organization. Um, at the same time, read. That's one of the like advices I got when I was maybe 18 years old. Read is just like download books, buy some books, tech journals, tech blogs. Just read a lot, because this will give you a lot of knowledge that will help you in making a great decision, building great products, and yeah, that's maybe my advice.
No, sounds great. Sounds great. There was actually one last thing I forgot to ask. I
Yeah,
just wanted to add. So you mentioned NearPay as an example of
yeah,
the leading, tech coming out of Saudi when it comes to soft or payment POS systems. What about like other industries where tech is involved, like SaaS, software as service, or when it comes to web development, app design? Where do you see in the region, a big, let's say, taking off? Is it in one where in Saudi was like, the app development is just amazing. Like I remember being there in COVID and Tawakkalna and all the digital integrated. You have a digital wallet with your driver's license, your residency card. So I found like the app development, like in Saudi Arabia, there's an app for everything. Like you can literally leave with your phone and you can do everything. You can tap to pay. You can show the officer your ID card. Maybe some apartments even you just open, the gate with your phone. So what are the tech spaces you see that are really like growing as of now?
yeah. Almost anything that um, that can plays a role in making high quality of life of living here, tech is there. Um, I expect IoT to be the next. That's my expectation. I see a lot of push towards like making to have IoT everywhere, where it can enhance the quality of living. But mentioning like one of the examples of a great success, which is the e-commerce. For me, I see Sella, for example. I know for sure, I know Sella. It started like it's a very small company, but maybe like the consistency of the founders, the consistency and the discipline they have, that one day we're gonna make it. By the way, Sella is the Shopify of Canada. Okay, but it's like here in the region, it makes like totally shift in e-commerce business here. It was like in Leap they just like announced maybe it's a unicorn now. So Sella was like a great success example for e-commerce, how it changed the e-commerce. Now everyone here can open his store in Sella and start selling the product, and they are very innovative when it comes to the new ideas they add to Sella.
Mhm.
So yeah, in general, I would like think about anything you can see here that can have that increase the um, the quality of service, you can find the tech will be there, and there's going to be a push for introducing tech, um, um, pushing for great, pushing like for example the fintech. The fintech is it started from SAMA. SAMA is the regulator, and they put a sandbox for startups to come and start like building applications. So you can see now Lindo. Lindo is like a P2P lending platform. You can see Malaa. Malaa is another startup example that's hosted by in the sandbox, where you can have your investment portfolios there. You can invest in stocks there. So those ideas is like comes from the push towards like making things easy. Everything is through an applications. You can do anything here.
Yeah, no, that is definitely amazing.
Yeah,
For those that don't know, SAMA is the Saudi Arabia Monetary Authority, and so like they're like the central bank, we would call them, right? They make
yeah,
the currency,
yeah,
and then they do the whole monetary policy.
yes,
Um,
yes,
it seems one thing I wanted to add, IoT. I'm actually very I'm a
yeah,
fan of IoT because there's a lot of there's a big intersection when we look at IoT and crypto.
yeah,
Maybe we'll save that for another
yeah,
another. But
sure.
one of the interesting utilizations of IoT is like sort of taking advantage of like the dead bandwidth that people have with their internet, their internet bandwidth or other things. And it's like you have like small devices that use the internet. So you can think about like maybe Aramex in Saudi Arabia, like they have small chips to track the fleet of cars. And it's like how can and one of the crypto coins, I'm not gonna mention it, but one project in
Mm,
there was how can we utilize excess bandwidth to help the IoT space. So like a company like Aramex might say, hey, we have to sign an internet deal with STC and pay millions versus if we can get people to share their bandwidth and sort of create that that space of share that internet, it could sort of be something interesting. So anyway, that was a coin. It sort of fizzled out.
okay.
But the IoT space definitely, yeah, it seems like there's a lot of growth in that sector. The last thing, I know it's the second time I've said the last thing, but one
Yeah,
thing
no worries.
I noticed from a lot of what you've mentioned is startups. So you started
Yeah,
working at a startup early in your career. You've mentioned a lot of startups like Nearpay and Salla before it
yeah,
grew.
yeah,
There's many other startups that I've been following that are, in their Series A funding, raising 15,
yeah,
20 million, Series B. And so I know Saudi Arabia has sort of an incubator as part of the 2030 vision of bringing startups in the region. And so, what are you seeing in the startup space?
oh yeah. Um, Saudi Arabia, just like maybe few months back, they launched a Saudi premium visa, and one of the categories is for entrepreneurs. So if you are an entrepreneur, and you can contribute to the economy by building a startup, and you have an idea, you just come and you are very welcome to start your own business here. Um, it is a good place to have. You have access to um, perfect. I see it like perfect infrastructure for new startups to come and start like launching their own products and start building their own startups. There are many incubators, such as, for example, Inspire You by
Yeah.
FCC and other incubators there, where you just like submit your idea and you will be part of their incubator. They will help you. They will like give you like all the necessary um, guidance to be help you to build your product here in Saudi Arabia. So I see that if it's not this year, maybe the next year, maybe the third year, the number of startups will increase. It's like either from coming from outside or
Yeah,
just from I
it's
see
already
it.
taken a big increase over the last couple of years, but it's definitely
Yeah,
the space is growing in terms of like the FDI, foreign direct investment. The money that's being pumped into that ecosystem. So definitely, I'm really excited to see
yeah.
what happens in that space. And I'd like to thank you again. So, folks, we have Mr. Yasser Sinjab. I'll leave his LinkedIn details in the comments section, where whatever this is broadcasted on. I really do appreciate you giving us the time. It's been a pleasure. This interview could go on for hours, but maybe if you agree, we can delve into some other topics another time. And yeah, I'd like to wish you all the best. Take care, Yasser, and until next time.
Thank you very much, Bilal, for hosting me.
No problem.
Thank
Take
you.
care.